Today we'll be looking at creating a password cracker for zipped files, and we'll be going through all the steps for importing an IDLE so we can keep track of our coding script, and then also how to manipulate the directories, and then finally how to use a dictionary called RockYou to do a password check of the different possible passwords that might exist in a zip file. So we're going to start talking about that here in a moment. Okay, as soon as I get control here again. Alright, so we're going to start with writing some code, and we'll be downloading the IDLE 3. This is the command that you want to enter, sudo, so that we can have administrative access. And because I am using Kali Linux 2020.1, and as you know, they changed the administration rights a little bit, permissions. But in order for these things to run, we need to write the sudo reserved keyword right here before we install things. So we're going to get and then install the idle 3, so that way we can keep track of our scripts. And that's really it. So we'll run that. And so it's going to ask you for the password, and it's just Kelly again. And you'll see it unpacks. So now we have this here, and it should be installed. Now I already installed this, that's why it's saying it's already installed. I just wanted to go through the command again, so that way you could see how to install the idle. So for convenience sake, I'm going to go ahead and put all of our files in a directory on the desktop. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is change the directory to desktop, and then I'll start working from there. So this is the command to change directory to the desktop. And now we're in the desktop directory. And from here we can start doing some more things. So I'll go ahead and create the directory that I want to use. And it's as simple as using the mkdir zip example. Now the zip example is just the name of the directory or the folder that I'm going to create right in here. So as soon as I run this, you'll see that that will work. And so just like that, we have our zip example folder here that you can see. Now we're going to change our directory to that so that we can actually use it. Oops. And now we're there. Okay, so now we're in the desktop zip example directory, which is right here. And this is where we'll be doing all of our stuff. So for right now, if I was to click in here, there's nothing in this directory. It's just empty. So we're going to create a file, and we're going to call that file, I don't know, just some name, and it's going to be where it's going to have some text. And then we're going to take that file and we're going to zip it, and we're going to assign it a password, so that then we can write a program to then hack that password. So to create that text file, all we do is type in this command, which is cat, and then our little caret, and our greater than symbol, and then the name of the text file. In this case, it's going to be secret.txt. I execute that, and that will create the secret text file in our desktop, and you can now see it. It's empty, of course, there's nothing here, but we're going to add something silly, like and we'll just save it. Okay, so now we have this file in here, and the next thing we're going to do is we are going to zip it up, and we'll have some fun with it. Okay, so our next command line says zip -re modfile secret.txt, and what that's going to do is it's going to zip the secret.txt file into a zip file, and it's going to encrypt it. The E right here stands for encrypt, and so zip, we're going to encrypt it into a zip file, which is going to be called my file, and it's going to take this secret.txt and zip it in there. That's really it. So let's run that. Wants a password. I'm just going to give it a really simple one. and it's done. Now we have a secret zip file here. If we click on it, it's going to want a password, and we're going to get out of that for now. And we can delete this part here now, because now we have it. The secret is now zipped in this password protected file. So now we're going to write the code to hack this thing. So we're still here, and we have there's another step we need to do, and that's we need to go and we need to get the RockYou Dictionary, and I want to show you where that's at. So if you go into your into the Kali menu here, you're going to see a whole bunch of different things here, all these different options that we have, and we're looking for password attacks, and we're looking for this right here, wordless. So password attack wordless, and if you open that up, you'll see that it brings us right to here, and what we're interested in is the RockYou.txt, and I'm going to show you a few commands to use that. Now, as you can see, you can use ls to look for something, to list what's in the word list. And I have RockYou.txt because I've already gone through the process of getting it. But I do want to share with you the command to get it. Because what's going to happen is when you first go here, it's going to be zipped. And that won't work for us. So I'm going to go ahead and write the command so that you can see what that looks like. Okay, so you have to use sudo if you're in 2020.1, and this is the zip, so it's a zip, and we're going to use the RockYou.txt.gz with the zip file, and we're going to unzip it, and that's what this means right here. So this line of code will do that, and then it'll throw it into our wordless directory. Of course, you have to do that again. Now, right now, it doesn't exist because I already unzipped it. But if you hadn't done this step, it would have shown up here the RockYou word list as a zipped file, and then you would run this command right here in order to unzip it and place it in the word list directory. So I just wanted to show you that real quick. It's really simple, but very useful. I also want to show you where the word list is located and how to get to it. So obviously the directory is listed here, but if you want to use the Windows option, you go to the File Manager, and you're going here. What I'll do is I'll just cut and paste the directories, easiest. So you want to go to the User, Share, and then Wordless. And once you've gone to that directory, you can see that it's listed right here. And here's the RockYou Dictionary. So like I said, from here it's pretty simple to get there. Let's go ahead and do that. And it's right here. I'm going to go ahead and copy it because I want to use this in my example, and I'm just going to go ahead and set it in the same directory where our zip is located. And that's just to make life easier. We could leave it here, and we could write code to say go to this directory and do this. But for just to keep things really simple, I'm going to copy it from the wordless directory and throw it into the directory where I'm going to be using it. So here's the zip example directory. We have our myfile.zip with the secret folder inside of it, or the secret text file inside of it. And here we have our RockYou text dictionary that we'll be using to pass passwords against it to find it, to find the password. Okay, so let's go back here, and the next thing I need to do is I'm going to create a Python script using the IDLE so that I can start writing some code. So you'll recognize we're using the command ACT greater than zipcracker.py. This first part should be familiar to you. This is what we use to create the text file. Now we'll be using this command to create the Python file. So I'm going to call it zipcracker.py for Python. And of course, this is the new 2020, so we need to prefix this with sudo. And still denied. One moment. Okay, so the command here is sudo, of course, for authority, and then the cat, and zipcracker.py, which is what we're going to name the file. And so now we have our 3 files that we need, and now we have enough to start working. So I can go ahead and open this up. I'm going to go ahead and open this up in the idle, and then start working. Okay, so now we're ready to start writing our script, and I'll be doing that. Okay, so the code is here, and I'm just going to go through it and try to explain it as best I can. So the first thing we have, as you know, is we have to have the entry point, and so we use the this bottom part here. This definition is going to tell us that this is our main entry point, which is going to be the main. So the compiler will enter here at this function here. And we'll be going line by line. We're going to use the parser, and we'll be comparing. We're going to open up the RockYou Dictionary, and then we'll be comparing the different passwords in the RockYou Dictionary against different possible, against the password of the actual zip file. So I'll do, like I said, my best to explain it. And so right off the bat, we're going to get 2 items that we need to have right away. We need to get the zip file, and we need to get the dictionary. And so that happens right here on these lines here. So the zip file here, and then the dictionary. These are the 2 things that we're going to need. And those will be specified. The reason they're not hard-coded is we're going to specify those via command line. And so that's what's happening here. Is it's going to ask for those things, and we will enter them in the command line for this in order for this to work. Okay. Now once we have that, then we're going to go ahead and take a look and make sure that these parsers are all good. If there's no name, it doesn't find something, it's going to exit. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and start working. And so we're going to have our zip file name, and then our zip file, and then our other file, the actual dictionary file. I'm sorry. And we're going to open it up, and then we're going to have a for loop here, and we're going to start passing each line that it reads from the RockYou file, and we're going to pass it as a password into the zip file. And hopefully it will find it to try and extract the file. Otherwise it'll fail. So right here, if we do find it and it works, then we'll have the password. We'll actually output the string password success along with the password that was returned. Outherwise, it's just going to say failed. And then we will print m, and m we're just a meaningless variable that we're using to say to output our information to the user. Okay, so there's really not a lot to this. I know it seems difficult, but it really isn't. Now we come back to the extract file function, and this is where we're going to pass it the file name, the zip file, and the actual password. And so here it's going to try and extract using the password. And if it actually extracts it, then T will get set to true. Otherwise, it gets set to false, and it's going to return one or the other. So this is being called every single time a new password is tried. So the first password goes in, we try and extract it using the password. It either passes or it fails. And then whether it's true or false, gets returned back to where it was called. And that is in the code right here somewhere. Give me one. Right here. So on this line here, that's where this function is called. So the function extract file, getting past the 2 arguments of the zip file and the password, and then trying to unlock it, is being called right here in this for loop. and so that function is either going to return true or false. And if depending on what happens here, then depending on what happens here, the t will get set to false or true, and if it's set to false, it just keeps trying it. Otherwise, it's going to pet out the password and it's going to break. So if it guesses the password, then it's going to output success and then break the for loop, and it's done. And this for loop will continue until it has read all the lines of the actual dictionary, and that's the purpose, to try and crack that file. Okay, so I think that's really about it. I'm trying to see if there's anything else you need to know. And I'm not seeing anything. Okay, so if there's any questions, just throw them in the comments section, and I'll do my best to explain. So one little thing I noticed as I was looking this over is I never did use the threading to import the thread. And normally we would want to use this to open up multiple threads so we can try multiple passwords very quickly. I did end up using it. You could basically comment this out and it would all work. But if you were hacking several passwords, you would want to use multiple threads to run these for loops against multiple to break up the dictionary and do it much faster. Okay, so that's really about it. I think all these lines are pretty simple to understand. I don't see anything that I haven't explained. It's like I said, it's a pretty simple example. So now that we have this, we can go ahead and save it, and we're actually ready to run this. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to run your file here. So I typed in this command, and you'll notice that it's Python and not Python 3. So if you wanted to run Python 3 in this command, I can get you would type a 3 in after the Python. But in this is the command that you need, and from here we can actually run the zip cracker code against my file. So let's see if I can get back to this, and it found the password right away. So it cracked it, it returned the password, and we're good. We now can access the zip file. If we were to go in there, we could actually use the password that was found, and it should work. And there it is. So that was how we would want to do this. It's pretty simple. It's pretty cool. But this is what you would want to do. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we want to know. The only thing I was going to say is that if you're using the RockYou Dictionary, you have to use regular Python, just this right here. Otherwise, what you'd have to do is you would have to add on a 3 right here. So what you could do is you can create your own dictionary, and a lot of people do this. You could combine RockYou with another dictionary. You could make your own massive dictionary, or especially if you have an idea of what the passwords might be, you could create a dictionary of those passwords, a very exclusive dictionary, and then you could run Python 3 against your own dictionary. But for the RockYou Dictionary, you do have to use Python 3. I have created custom dictionaries where I've used Python 3, so I know that works. But again, if you're going to use Rock 3, you can't use Python 3. And so you just take that part out and it'll run. Okay, so that is really it. I thought it was kind of a fun little exercise. There's not anything terribly complex about it. Let's see. I'll go ahead and go back to the code here again. I'll put this back up. Really, there's not a lot to this. It's pretty simple. And I am using the Violent Python book for explaining some of this stuff. So anyways, that's really about it. If you have any questions, again, throw them in the comment section or just email me, let me know, and I'll be happy to explain the process.